What is a dusky-headed conure like? Hey guys, I'm Kaylin, the author of the Parrot Bliss Bond. I have 20 species of parrots, only one hiding, 20 plus species, only one hiding in my hair. I have the mission with Parrot Bliss to help you have a blissful bond with your parrot so that you are far less likely to rehome your parrot or to go and surrender them to a rescue, so that you and your parrot are happier. I'm also the author of the Parrot Bliss Bond, which you can get on Amazon.com today. If you want to try to have a very best feathered friend, you're in the right place. If you're used to hanging out, you haven't met Aegean. I don't know, I haven't done a video on my Dusky before. I think this is my first one. I'm excited. I do love my Dusky. Let's get started. Okay, so Aegean is my dusky-headed conure. Aegean's a female. Dusky-headed conures are sexually dimorphic, which means you can't, monomorphic, which means you can't tell the difference. They, male or female, they look the same, so I did do a DNA to find out what gender she was. I read about Duskies in my Citiculture book many moons ago, and I was like, oh my God, that's on my bucket list. I think what attracted me was that Duskies are supposed to be like quieter and more mellow and like just really bonded to you. I go to a cafe sometimes in the mornings and have made friends with a couple of sheriffs who go before like their shift starts. And they were talking to me because I had a conure on me, and it was really cool. I told them that I was getting a Dusky, and one of them told me that he grew up with a Dusky. His mom had a Dusky, and he's like, just like an awesome bird. So Aegean is 2.5 months. I'm still hand feeding her a little. And what my impression is so far of what a dusky-headed conure is like, I do feel like she's quieter. She can be honking, but generally speaking, you can kind of see she's a little quieter right now. And I feel like she is a little more mellow. She's a little bigger than my green cheek conures. I'm gonna guesstimate like 20% bigger, 30% bigger. And that's based on the fact that green cheek conures are like between like 60 and 80 grams. And she's like, I think Duskies are like 100, 120, something like that. So she could technically be twice the weight. Just as interested in sparkly things. Don't eat my earring. Yeah. I have had her since she was 2 weeks. I've been hand feeding her. So I've created a great bond there because I was able to do that, because if you guys know me, you know that I do hand feed it. When my parrots have babies, I have babies and I feed them. And so I do know how. Okay, leave my earring. Oh, no. Come here. Come here, let's let everybody get a better look at you. Come here. She's like, no, I want to stay with you. I think she's stunning. Duskies are kind of really plain. You can see the blue on her wings. I clipped her just a itty bitty bit so that when she goes to my mom's for lunch with me, she doesn't just fly all over the place. Because when I was taking she and her friend, who is a green cheek conure, they were flying all over the place. So I was just trying to slow her down a little bit, but I didn't really want to clip her because I love the blue on her tail and on her wings. Otherwise, you know, she's pretty green and her head has some of that dusky-headed gray. To me, she's very subtle colors. There's no way like a sun conure isn't far more striking and beautiful. I love when my parrots do that. It cracks me up. What you doing? Do you want to step back up? Come here. You want to step up? You can't decide? Good job. Good step up. So, she's, she's really cool. I have her in with my green cheek conures, and she gets along fine. They, I think, are louder, and I'm gonna say they're a little rowdier, although I'm gonna say she's a little smarter because she can lift the door, like her, the food access doors. I had to zip tie it closed because she was just lifting it and letting herself out of her cage. And her cage mates were watching, but not following suit. So I think for that, she gets the title of being a little smarter. She's very engaging. She's very sweet. I'm surprised that there aren't more dusky conures out there. I think she would be a good apartment parrot because she's just not terribly loud. Like I said, she can be a little loud. Oh, there you go. But you can see right now she's just hanging out with me. Sometimes she's a little rambunctious, but she's young. I expect the rambunctiousness to increase. I hope it doesn't, but realistically, you have to have that expectation. I see you want to bite me, but I'm not allowed to flip you on your back. So sometimes when I'm hanging out with her, she's a little like cray cray. And when she's with her friend, she's way crazy. They're like, but other times when it's just she and I, she's so cute, and she like lies on her back. And one time she was, and I'll put a picture, and she was, if I haven't already, she was on her back, cute as can be. And I'm like, she like dead. It's kind of, if you've ever had a baby, when they're sleeping really soundly, you're like, wake up the baby, make sure it's alive, because they're so sound and they look so peaceful, and you're like, is that like a really good sleep, or did we slip to the other side, So she was like sleeping. She was so funny. She put herself into this position on her back, just cuddled into me. And I'm like, at first I thought nothing of it. A minute later, 5 minutes later, I'm like, is she okay? And she was perfectly fine. So I've never seen a green cheek conure do that, and I've had way more green cheek conure babies. It could be unique to a Aegean, or it could be the way Duskies are. I feel like it's the way Duskies are, just kind of more mellow, kind of more sweet. I feel like she's a less colorful version of a green cheek conure, a little bigger, a little quieter, a little easier. I'm like, don't hit the stop button, please. And I adore her. I just adore her. As a matter of fact, since she had been on my bucket list, and since I had wanted a dusky conure for so long, I couldn't find one. And then a friend of mine who is a breeder and sells birds, he had some, and I was like, I'll take 2 or 3 because I wanted to get a male and a female. And I was like, I could always, wean them and then sell one, whichever, like if I have, the extra gender kind of thing. Anyway, and I get to him and he's like, I'm so sorry, they all got sold. I didn't realize. I'm like, oh, I'm never going to get a dusky. And then he called me a couple weeks later and he's like, I have a dusky baby for you. I totally adore her. I have had problems this summer because my big macaw passed away, my harlequin. And so like I kind of got to the point where I was like, I was taking care of Aegean, and I have some other babies I've been feeding and stuff. And now like my babies are just about all gone, but at the time, like 2 weeks later, my friend was like, oh, I have the second one for you. You wanted the second one. And I was like, you know what? I can't do it. So part of it was I was really having a hard time because of my harlequin. But another part of it was there was something in my dusky, and in my experience, I don't think this would happen necessarily to you. I think it was me. She just really fulfilled something. She was on my bucket list. I think she was like the last bucket list parrot. And I was like, you know what? I don't want anybody. I don't want to add any more right now. I really want to enjoy her. I really want to enjoy my flock, and that's what I've done. So I totally adore her. If you have an opportunity to get a Dusky, I just don't think you can go wrong. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I do think the rule of having 2 applies. Either, and I think with a Dusky, you could have any Conure her size, and it would work out. And of course 2, because then they're not lonely when you're not with them 24/7. And I assume you can't be with them 24/7. If you can, that might be different. But you know what? Even if you were with them 24/7, we don't relate to a parrot the way they relate to each other. And so it's really nice to let them bridge. I always talk about that. It's nice to let them bridge and have someone in the parrot world and someone in the human world, and they can connect with both and they get to bridge it. As opposed to if there's no parrots and they just connect with you, then they're lost, or they're left kind of going, I'm a human. That my mate is a human, but then they're not. And so then, like, I think that can be very hard on parrots. So I still recommend 2. Like I said, she's not with one other one. She's with a couple others. So that's not a problem for her, and she's really happy. I adore her. So like I was saying, if you have an opportunity to get a Dusky, I would say that's a really great opportunity. I would say this is a great apartment parrot, very easy to travel with, very easy to do things with. She goes with me to my mom's. She just went with me out. We had Friday afternoon tacos, and so awesome, just awesome. All right, I think, anything else super duper distinguishing about you? Nope, just that you're awesome, huh? Yeah. Awesome and likes jewelry. Oop. Thank you for joining me in this blissful video. I did not realize that people were doing the super thanks for me, so I want to give you a super thanks for the super thanks. I have to check on the back end to see if I got a super thanks. Like, YouTube doesn't let me know, which is kind of a shame. So if I don't thank you personally, this is why. Because, like, I don't really know who did it, and I don't even know the amounts. And I don't think that's information YouTube gives me. But I just know that I appreciate it. I appreciate the support in my mission. I appreciate the support in supporting my flock. Hey, that's hard. Be gentle. She hasn't entered the terrible 2s yet. Although, maybe we're officially entering. Hey, yep. Not such a good idea. Oh, see? Don't do that. Don't do that. Mwah. Please, no bites. Duckies. Okay, so thank you for the super thanks. If you want to connect more and get a weekly video that is only available to members and join the community on Discord, then consider becoming a member. I'm probably going to be shifting that. I don't know if I'm going to keep offering it. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. But, so if you want to do it, now's the time. And then we will see you in the next green and dusky or other colored, feathered video. Thanks for being here, guys. Love you. Please comment and share below. I love reading what you guys say. It helps my juice. See you next time.